This is an open letter for Layne Kilpatrick, the hormone specialist. Layne, I didn't want to make this video, but it has come to the point where there are no other options. Those of you watching may know that if you Google Layne Kilpatrick, you'll find that he did some naughty things that were multiple felonies that he agreed and signed to, and he had to hand over his license or go to jail for dozens and dozens of years. We believe people can change. You know, all of us are humans and all of us have made mistakes. And in this case, Layne hired an intern from BYU, Idaho, and completely botched this program here. And when BYU, Idaho found out about what happened, they said, we don't want any part of this. And the intern also said, hey, Layne, I appreciate the opportunities that you've opened up for me, but unfortunately this is not what I expected. It doesn't align with BYU Idaho's policies, and it's also just not good management, which you know, I don't need to tell you what those things are. I don't need to tell you the way you behaved. I don't need to tell you how you made the intern try to fall on the sword and take the blame for your mistakes. And I understand you might hate me. You might think that you are holier than me, and because you go to the temple, you know, I am not a good person, and therefore you continue to message this intern, who's now our intern, so, you know, maybe you're jealous, whatever it is, even after he and I have told you multiple times, please cease and desist. You continue to do this and tell this guy that I'm a scam, you better watch out. You know, you tell him that, hey, this guy's bad, you know, you don't want to work with him, and you believe that you are helping your former intern out by smearing me. Now, I'd ask you to pray about this and think about this carefully. There are a lot of young men that are building their careers. Their families are depending upon this. They are learning skills, they're generating income, and are you doing this because you honestly want to help this former intern who told you he wants nothing of it, the fact that you hate me? He said, that's between you two. You know, Layne and Dennis, you two can sort it out. I don't want any part of this. And you know he's told you that? You know, I've told you that, and yet you continue to harass him. I've sent you multiple messages telling you to stop. If you got a problem with me, come to me. If I'm a scam, if I'm doing bad things, if you can find documented real evidence of this, then I'm happy to accept blame and happy to own up on that. But if what you're doing is petty and you are just trying to divert blame, if you are mad and you're trying to take it out on me and take it out on an intern, then you might realize that what you're doing is illegal. As much as you want to get back at somebody, you cannot do this. This is against BYU Idaho's policies. The actions that you have been taking are what are going to cause more attention to hormone specialists, your business, to you selling supplements that are questionable, all that kind of stuff. This is your very actions are causing the thing that you don't want to have happen, which is drawing attention to your misdeeds, multiple felonies, which anyone can look up on the prescriptions that you prescribed to these inmates and took home and kept medical records in your garage, and you signed to the pharmacy board, you admitted to all these crimes, right? Who wants to dwell on those things, right? It's the past. But the more you try to shift onto me and blame me and message that intern, even though he's told you to stop, we were up till 2:30 in the morning a couple days ago discussing this, and he said, I like Layne. I see him at the temple. We're in the same community. And, you know, I don't want this whole kind of thing, you know, because, you know, I have to see this guy. And he's a holy guy and he's a friend of mine. Well, Layne, is that how you want to represent yourself? When there's good people like me that are creating opportunities, doing good things, and then you want to smear and spread lies? Here's the thing. If you truly believe in your heart that what you're doing is legitimate and righteous, then by all means, you should continue to do what you're doing. And whatever the price is, if that's the right thing, if that's the truth, then you should definitely do that. And I told the intern the same thing. I said, if you believe that Layne is actually doing good things by trying to smear me, by finding spammers who were paid to write negative articles about me 17 years ago or whatnot, then you definitely should investigate that. And you shouldn't work with me. You know, if the things, Layne, that you're saying about me are true, then nobody should work with me, right? Not a Nike or a Rosetta Stone or Golden State Warriors or all these other people that, you know, certainly I think they would do more due diligence than what you would do. So if you believe what you're doing is right, then you should continue, you should proceed with your current plan of action, because you should protect interns and other people from evil people like me, which is what you're saying, right? But if you find that what you're doing is petty, it's illegal, it's disrupting, it's tortious interference, it can get you in jail because there's, not that I want to go down this path, but find out if what you're doing is something that we can easily go down that legal path, because you continue to do this and you will not stop. I believe everyone can change. All of us have had mistakes in the past, but your current actions are the very thing that are digging this hole deeper for you, Layne Kilpatrick. If you want to resolve this, it's never too late to say that you're sorry and that you messed up. And if you want me to admit your sins and publish the documentation of your behavior, I gladly will, because you are going around and smearing me, and I'm going to defend my reputation, because I will do anything to protect our people, especially against people who are as hardened as you are and are self-righteous and are hiding behind, you know, this Mormon temple thing. We have a lot of good Mormon friends. And, you know, Mormons are people too. But I think what you're doing is despicable, it's illegal, it needs to stop now. So, the ball's in your court. This video and everything else that will come from this will be from your hand. You decide, how do you want to behave? Do you want to keep attacking me, which is just bringing more scrutiny on yourself? Do you want to bring the police because we can file and get a protective order against your behavior? Do you want BYU Idaho to see how even after gracefully they said, you know what, it's fine, this was in our rearview mirror. I thought a few weeks ago, you know what, we got this thing fixed. We don't have to deal with Layne Kilpatrick anymore, but yet you won't go away. What is a reasonable person supposed to do? You know, I thought about it. Like, you know, maybe I'll just pretend. And I'll just, you know, it's like a cancer. I'll just pretend the cancer doesn't exist and maybe it'll go away. But you see where we are right now, Layne, right? You want to attack me? You can if you want. Free speech, you can say whatever you want, but you better be sure what you're saying is true. You take aim at the king, you better not miss. So Layne Kilpatrick, it's on you now. I know you're a big social media influencer, you have millions of followers, you know, you're holier than me, you're very self-righteous in telling that intern how bad I am. If you truly believe you're righteous, continue with this. But my hope is that, you know, people who are really dogged and like stuck in their ways can maybe take a step back and have an ounce of humility. So Layne, this is for you. Let us know. What do you think? What do you want to do? The ball's in your court. You're continuing to harass the intern. You don't reply to my messages. I'm not messaging you anymore. This is up to you if you want to do something about this.